Welcome to my studio. Oh, God. I shouldn't have done that.
Good afternoon. Welcome to my studio. This is the studio of Sarah Karen Art, and today we are going to be doing something really fun. Little tutorial for you. If you know me well, you'll know that I love alcohol, ink painting. Oh yes, I do. So I thought it'd be nice if we went on a little journey together. I love doing Aurora type painting. There is a specific technique to how you do these. So I'm going to run through what the technique is, and enjoy. Hope you come with me on the journey. Thank you.
So I'm just going to give you a little run through. So this is, let's put it this way so that you can see it is your way. I've just put a couple of pencil lines in here, so a little bit of landscape. So when I've done my alcohol ink, I'm going to be painting over it with an acrylic paint to give it, to put in the landscape, to put in the snowy foreground and the Christmas trees and a reindeer or stag, I don't know what it is, but it is a animal of that type. So here is going to be my snowy foreground. This bit is going to be my sky. So this is going to be my aurora. Okay, so what we need a little hairdryer. This is like a little travel hairdryer thing that I use. As you can tell, it's incredibly clean, and so I use my hairdryer. It's a very low, cheapy thing, which is absolutely ideal. You do not want a powerful hairdryer because it will just scoot everything off the page and splatter walls and yourself most probably, so that you do not want. Obviously you do need your alcoholics. I am using a teeny tiny little bit of forest green. Can't talk today, I don't know why. Barge blue, one of my favourite colours. This is a Senorita Magenta, ooh la la. And a light, this is a Copic, so this is a pale green. And I'm going to be using those colours. And my new favourite, brass, Pinata Brass. Pretty good old shape. So they are the colours that I will be using. I don't use a purple because I have found that when I add resin, because I generally coat my paintings with resin when they, look at my fingernails, oh my gosh. They are the fingernails of an artist. Dreadful, disgusting. Where was I? Resin. So I resin my alcohol inks to finish them off before I frame them. And I have found that two of my purples lose their colour so easily. I don't know why it happens, but they do. They bleach when they have a resin coat. So I don't use purple anymore. So what I'm using my magenta and my Barge blue, which will both create a beautiful purple, but you'll also see their own colours as well, which I think just works superbly when doing an alcohol ink. So we will take the lids off of our alcohol inks whilst I run you through the papers that I use. Papers that I use are, today I'm actually using, I am so excited, I have found Nara paper. Nara paper you generally haven't, up until this week, been able to buy in the UK. It is, I think it comes from India, and it is gorgeous. It is so nice and thick. So I'm using Nara paper today. I use Frisk. Yupo paper is the paper you want. It isn't paper. As the name suggests, it isn't paper. It is actually a plastic. It is a synthetic paper. It is non-porous, so that the alcohol ink can sit on the paper, when you add your blending solution or I can never say it, isopropanol, 99.9%, the alcohol evaporates, leaving the inks, and it moves them around, it lifts them off of the paper, moves them around, they mix, and they just create these wonderful effects of colours and architecture patterns, and it's just absolutely beautiful, which is why it works really well if you're trying to get an aurora type sky. Okay, so let's crack on. I have a blending solution in a little bottle. I use this all the time. Blending solution is a combination of isopropanol and glycerol, vegetable glycerol. I fill this up to the top and I add about 8 drops of glycerol, and it just helps to blend the colours a little bit better. If you're just using your isopropanol, it tends to not do as good a job. So I always use this and make it up on my own. It's a lot cheaper. So yeah. Okay, so we're gonna start. So I always pop a little base layer of my blending solution. And you can be quite generous at this point. Right, so I want it quite light this side. So I'm going to put my green here. I'm going to swirl it around a bit. And I'm going to add my beige blue to here. And we're just going to see what happens. A lot of alcohol ink painting, it's just a lot of trial and error. And the great thing is if it doesn't work first time, you're very welcome to throw the paper in the bin. It's expensive, so I wouldn't recommend you do that. Try and work with it. That's the beauty of alcohol ink, is that it comes off the paper. So if you don't like what you've got, just add a little bit of alcohol, add a little bit more ink to it, and just work with it, see what happens. So you can see there how beautifully it blends if you just move it around. So it's already beginning to dry off on the edges, which is fine because we can always add some more blending the solution. Okay, I'm going to add some more up here. The further up we go, the darker I want the colours. So I'm just going to move that around a bit. You have to work fairly quick because obviously it does dry quite quickly. Right, so to get my purple, this magenta is a really, really strong colour, but you can see already how it has just given me an absolutely idyllic purple that shouldn't bleach. When I act, I'll be devastated if it does, but it hasn't so far. It hasn't so far, so fingers crossed. But you can see how just by moving it over, it's giving me this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful blend of colours. Add a little bit more blending solution, just mix it in a little bit. And what we're going to do is we're going to pop a little bit. I love this colour, she's absolutely gorgeous. There are different alcohol ink manufacturers that are out there. Favourite? I think there are 3 favourites really. You'll come across Tim Holtz. He does a really great range. He does, if you're looking for a really good range of metallics, he does an absolutely exquisite range. of metallics, as do Pinata. So Pinata, brass. So what we're going to do, this is my brass. I love it. Oh my gosh, it just works so well. So I think what we are ready to do, I'm just going to give it a little bit more of a swirl. I think what we're ready to do is we're actually ready to kind of try and dry this off a little bit. Now, I'm actually going to start to use is my heat gun. Now, I don't like using heat guns too much because they are quite fierce, and if you put them too close to the paper will warp, which obviously you don't want. But just to give it a little bit of a quick dry, to try and set these colours, and just to, I don't want them to move around too much because I really love this effect. This I'm not liking too much. So what you find with your metallics is that they can clump. They clump together. I want that just to move around a bit, so it kind of gives the effect of like a starlight shimmer. Sorry, I know you can't see me doing that right there. Okay, I'm just going to add a little bit more here. God, I sound like Bob flipping Ross. Okay, and we're just going to move it back up here a bit. Okay, I'm happy with that. Okay, we're just going to whack on the dryer. I'm really, really happy with that. Let me just turn it around so that you can actually see it properly. There we go. Beautiful. That is pretty much exactly what I wanted to achieve. So that's the first step. How easy was that? Really easy. What I would say, if you are working with alcoholics, there are fumes involved, so do wear a mask. Let me pop you up here. Hello. Obviously I'm not wearing a mask because I am talking to you, and I'm in a fairly big area and it's pretty well ventilated. But if you're working in a small, even if you're not working in a small space, do wear a mask because the fumes are quite strong sometimes. Wear gloves as well, because sometimes I get alcoholic all over my fingers and it's really hard to get off, and especially if you're coming up to Christmas and you've got nowhere to go, but you want your nails to look nice and pretty, not like mine. You don't want alcoholic, and trying to get that all off is a real pain in the backside. So wear gloves, wear a mask. What else can I tell you about them? Not much else really. That's pretty much in a nutshell. So have a go. That's one method of using alcoholic. There are lots of other methods that you can use, but for this particular type of painting, I don't even know what that method is. I call it the swoosh method because that sounds kind of fun. It's really good. It's really, 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 really therapeutic. Love doing alcoholics. So my next step is to add the foreground. Come with me on the journey. I'll let you know when that's about to hit, and take care.